Throughout history, governments around the world have been accused of hiding the truth, manipulating events, and controlling narratives. Some conspiracy theories are outlandish, but others, well, they might just be true. Today, we're diving into the top 5 government conspiracies that might be true. Stay tuned till the end, because number 1 will leave you questioning everything. MK-Ultra, the mind control experiment. MK-Ultra was a covert project run by the CIA from the early 1950s to the 1970s. Its goal? To develop techniques for mind control, interrogation, and psychological manipulation. And to do that, they experimented on thousands of people, often without their permission. The methods used in MK-Ultra were bizarre, unethical, and often terrifying. The CIA's favorite tool? LSD. The agency believed that psychedelics could be used to break down a person's mental defenses, making them easier to manipulate. They secretly dosed soldiers, prisoners, and even ordinary citizens just to see what would happen. LSD wasn't the only thing they used. Electroshock therapy, sensory deprivation, hypnosis, and even high doses of barbiturates and amphetamines were all part of their twisted playbook. One particularly cruel experiment, known as psychic driving, involved playing recorded messages on a loop for hours, even days, to brainwash a subject into submission. One of the most notorious figures in MK-Ultra was Dr. Donald Ewan Cameron, a Scottish psychiatrist who ran horrifying experiments at the Allen Memorial Institute in Canada. Cameron's methods included putting patients into drug-induced comas for weeks and playing repetitive messages over and over. He believed he could erase a person's mind and rebuild them like a blank slate. The results? Many of his patients were left with permanent memory loss, brain damage, and psychological trauma. And here's the kicker, his work was funded by the CIA. The victims of MK-Ultra came from all walks of life. The CIA tested on college students, hospital patients, prisoners, and even its own agents. In one infamous case, a CIA scientist named Frank Olson was secretly dosed with LSD without his knowledge. Days later, he mysteriously fell from a hotel window. His death was ruled a suicide, but many believe he was murdered to keep MK-Ultra a secret. MK-Ultra remained hidden for decades, until 1975, when a U.S. Senate investigation exposed the horrifying truth. The government admitted to the experiments, but by then, most of the records had been destroyed. Flight MH370. At 12:41 a.m. local time, MH370 takes off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport. The weather is clear, and everything seems normal. About 40 minutes into the flight, at 1:19 a.m., the final radio transmission is heard. "Good night, Malaysian 370. It's a standard sign-off as the plane prepares to enter Vietnamese airspace. Then silence. The aircraft vanishes from air traffic control radar. No distress call, no signal, just gone. Initial searches focus on the South China Sea, where the plane was last seen on civilian radar. But then, a shocking revelation. Military radar detects an unidentified aircraft making a sharp turn west, back toward Malaysia. It's later confirmed. This was MH370. The plane flies across the Malay Peninsula, then out over the Indian Ocean. But why? And who was in control? Here's where things get even stranger. Even though the plane's transponder and communications were disabled, an onboard system, called the Aircraft Communications Addressing and Reporting System, or ACARS, was still pinging a satellite. These handshakes provided a crucial clue. MH370 continued flying for another 6 hours before vanishing somewhere over the vast, empty Indian Ocean. An international search effort is launched, involving dozens of countries, cutting-edge technology, and billions of dollars. Yet, after years of scanning the ocean floor, nothing substantial is found. No fuselage, no black box, no definitive wreckage site. Just a handful of debris washing up on shores thousands of miles away. Then, in 2015, the first major breakthrough. A piece of the wing, called a flaperon, washes up on Réunion Island, east of Madagascar. Over the next few years, more debris appears on beaches in Mozambique, Tanzania, and South Africa. But even with this evidence, the main wreckage remains elusive. One of the leading theories points to the captain, investigators discovered a simulated flight path on his home computer that eerily resembled MH370's final known trajectory. Was this a meticulously planned mass murder-suicide? Some believe the evidence suggests intent, but no clear motive has ever been found. Another theory? A hijacking. Some speculate that terrorists took over the plane, possibly to use it for a future attack. But no known group claimed responsibility, and no ransom demands were ever made. And then, the more controversial theories. Some believe MH370 was accidentally or deliberately shot down by a military force and covered up. Others think the plane was secretly landed and hidden. Wild speculation, maybe, but without the black box, the truth remains out of reach. 10 years later, the search continues. Independent investigators, aviation experts, and even private companies are pushing forward. Advances in technology might finally uncover what happened that night. But for now, Flight MH370 remains one of aviation's most haunting mysteries. The Philadelphia Experiment. The legend begins in October 1943 at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. According to the tale, the USS Eldridge, a newly commissioned destroyer escort, was the subject of a top-secret experiment aimed at rendering it invisible to enemy radar. A strategic advantage that could turn the tide of war. The purported method? The generation of a powerful electromagnetic field that would cloak the ship from detection. But as the story goes, the experiment had unintended and horrifying consequences. Witnesses claimed that the Eldridge vanished from Philadelphia, only to reappear moments later in Norfolk, Virginia, over 200 miles away, before blinking back to its original location. The crew allegedly suffered severe side effects. Some went insane, others were said to have become fused with the ship's metal structure, and a few reportedly vanished entirely. The primary source of this extraordinary tale was a man named Carl Meredith Allen, who often used the alias Carlos Miguel Allende. In 1956, Allen sent a series of letters to UFO researcher Morris K. Jessup, detailing the alleged experiment and its disastrous outcomes. Allen's letters referenced Einstein's unfinished unified field theory, suggesting that the Navy had applied these principles to achieve the Eldridge's supposed invisibility and teleportation. However, there's no evidence that Einstein's theories were ever applied in such a manner, and the scientific community remains skeptical of the feasibility of such an experiment. The U.S. Navy has consistently denied that any such experiment took place. Records indicate that the USS Eldridge was never in Philadelphia during the time in question, casting further doubt on the story's credibility. Between its commissioning in August 1943 and December of that year, the Eldridge was engaged in missions elsewhere, making stops in New York, Bermuda, and participating in Atlantic convoys. The lack of credible evidence, combined with inconsistencies in the timeline and the sole reliance on Carl Allen's unverified accounts, strongly suggests that the Philadelphia experiment is a work of fiction rather than fact. The Montauk Project. Our story begins with a mysterious military installation known as Camp Hero, located in Montauk, New York. Officially, it was just a radar station built during World War II. But according to conspiracy theorists and alleged whistleblowers, Camp Hero was merely a cover for something far more sinister. Survivors of the Philadelphia experiment, including a man named Albilek, claimed that the government continued its research, this time focusing on mind control, time travel, and interdimensional travel. They needed a secure, hidden location, and thus the Montauk Project was born. One of the core aspects of the Montauk Project was mind control. According to alleged insiders, scientists experimented with ways to influence and manipulate human thoughts. They used powerful electromagnetic waves to alter emotions and even implant suggestions into people's minds. Some claim the infamous MKUltra project was merely a warm-up for what was happening in Montauk. The crown jewel of the Montauk experiments was the Montauk chair. This device allegedly amplified psychic abilities, allowing subjects, especially gifted children, to manifest objects with their minds. Some claim the chair even allowed them to open portals to other dimensions. Perhaps the most outlandish claim is that the Montauk Project cracked the secrets of time travel. Subjects were supposedly sent across time and space, sometimes with disastrous results. Albilek, one of the most vocal figures behind the story, claimed he was sent 40 years into the future to the year 1983, where he saw advanced technology that defied explanation. By the early 1980s, the Montauk Project was supposedly shut down after one of the psychics, known as Duncan Cameron, manifested a terrifying entity that rampaged through the base. With the project out of control, authorities allegedly abandoned and sealed off the underground facilities. But some believe the experiments never really stopped. They just moved somewhere else. So, is there any real evidence? Officially, the government denies everything. No concrete proof of underground labs, time travel experiments, or psychic research has ever been found. Many claims come from a handful of individuals whose stories, while fascinating, lack verifiable evidence. But conspiracy theorists argue that the absence of proof doesn't mean it didn't happen, only that it was covered up too well. UFOs and government cover UPS. The modern UFO phenomenon began in 1947 when private pilot Kenneth Arnold spotted 9 disc-shaped objects flying at incredible speeds near Mount Rainier, Washington. The media called them flying saucers, and the UFO craze was born. But Arnold's sighting was just the beginning. Later that same year, something crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. The U.S. military first reported that they had recovered a flying disc, only to retract the statement the next day, claiming it was just a weather balloon, a mistake, or the first of many cover-ups. 4 years, the U.S. government denied any involvement with UFOs. But in 2017, something shocking happened. The Pentagon admitted to running a secret program, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or ADIP, designed to study unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. Even more shocking, declassified videos showed U.S. Navy pilots encountering objects moving at hypersonic speeds, with no visible means of propulsion. Commander David Fravor, a former Navy pilot, described an encounter with a tic-tac-shaped UFO in 2004 off the coast of California. The object maneuvered in ways impossible for known aircraft, yet the military remained silent for years. Why the secrecy? Could the government be hiding the existence of extraterrestrial visitors? Or are these objects secret advanced technology? The secrecy surrounding UFOs has led many to come forward with claims of a massive cover-up. One of the most famous whistleblowers is Bob Lazar, who, in 1989, claimed to have worked at a top-secret site near Area 51 called S4. According to Lazar, he worked on reverse engineering alien spacecraft powered by an unknown element, Element 115. Of course, skeptics dismiss his claims. But strangely, years later, scientists did indeed synthesize a new element, Moscovium, or Element 115. Could Lazar have been telling the truth? In 2020, the Pentagon declassified 3 UFO videos, confirming their authenticity. In 2023, whistleblower David Grush, a former intelligence officer, testified before Congress, alleging that the U.S. has recovered non-human craft and even biological remains. These claims, if true, could change everything we know about our place in the universe. But instead of clear answers, we keep getting more red tape, more denials, and more classified files. Whatever the truth is, one thing is clear: governments around the world know more than they're telling us. And as long as they keep their secrets, the mystery will only grow deeper. The truth is out there. But will we ever really know it? What do you think? Are these just wild theories? Or is there something the government doesn't want us to know? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing content. Until next time, stay curious.